Week 8, the last one of the regular season. Pat, before we begin, maybe we can talk about the Hall of Fame induction ceremony that's taking place on Friday evening with Bill Sermon, Mark Robinson, James Osborne, James Aru, Paul Corelli, and builders Bob Howes, Bob Mullen, as well as teams from the 1956, 1964, and 1968 teams going into the Hall this year.
Well, I think this weekend represents a celebration of excellence for Queens football. The three teams that are going in, the 56, 64, and 68 teams, were tremendous groups. They had great seasons. And I've had an opportunity to meet a number of outstanding individuals who participated on those teams. I think what's probably noteworthy is not just the success that they had as athletes, but many of them had, outstanding careers in professional life. And several are sort of on the cusp or have retired, and this is a great opportunity for them to assemble and look back on what they achieved as teams. In the builders category, two old colleagues, Bob Howes and Bob Mullen, both of them had tremendous careers as coaches. They contributed a great deal to the overall success of Queens football for a number of years as assistants, and in Bob Howes' case, as a head coach. Both are highly respected and somewhat revered by the players who played for them. So this is a great opportunity for them to get that lifetime achievement shout out that they truly deserve. The individuals being inducted all had stellar careers. I'm very familiar with all of them. Bill Sermon had a terrific career in the 60s. He led the league in scoring in 1963, I believe. And then Mark Robinson, Paul Corelli, James Osborne, and Jim Aru. I don't have so fond memories of them, having coached against them during their heyday. All were tremendous players, and I had a great deal of respect for what they did as athletes, and all of them have gone on to have successful careers off the field as well. So this is a great time, for Queens to reflect. I believe that every institution has a responsibility to bring pride and honor onto itself, and this is a great opportunity to do it in football fashion. So it should be a great event. We're also going to get an opportunity once again to show off the Ark for the first time to a number of the football alums who are very anxious and excited about being here. So really looking forward to it.
All right, so Pat, talk a little bit about...
Along those lines, Coach, why do you think it means so much to these guys? Because, I mean, year in and year out, you talk to them, and, I mean, they got tears. It's just, is it the tradition? Is it, what do you tell me?
Tradition never graduates. I think at a place like Queens, tradition's important. What you see today is a culmination of a storied past, and at the university overall, and in football in particular. So, also, I think what it is as Carly Simon sang, that these are the good old days. I think everybody reaches a point in their life where they look back, and your days as an intercollegiate athlete really were the best times in your life, and the relationships that you developed during that time, and the friends that you made remain special, and in many cases they remain close. And then what you get to put a stamp on it, which is a championship season, which as time goes on you realize that they don't come around very often either. So when you have an opportunity to play on a team that gets it done and wins the ultimate prize, I think that becomes more special as time goes on, and then you get a chance to reflect back on why it happened, who made it happen, the roles that individuals took, the compromises and sacrifices that were made for team success, and you begin to appreciate it even more as time goes on. So I think that's sort of the windings on the ball.
That's okay. Any other questions on the Hall of Fame? Okay, Pat, why don't we talk about our opponent in the Hall of Fame game, the York Lions?
Well, I think York's circumstances are fairly plain. They're in a rebuilding situation. I'm very familiar with the new head coach, Warren Craney. He was a player of mine many years ago. He went on to have a very successful career as an assistant on a variety of levels in the province of Quebec. He was an assistant coach at Vanier College, developed a great defense there. Went on to Concordia University as the defensive coordinator, and had a number of President's Trophy winners play for him. He assembled a terrific defense there at Concordia during his time. And I think he was a great candidate to go to York. I think he's very familiar with the the parallels between Concordia and Montreal and York and Toronto are many, and the fact of the matter is that he has a great way with the kids that they get there. Over the years, I mean, whether the score indicated it or not, York has given us our fair share of trouble. They're an athletic team, and they have caused us some problems. In this particular year, they are certainly lacking in experience. They've got a lot of players who are in their first year. They're trying to get the program established. On our side, unfortunately, we can't afford to take anybody lightly at this point. So, I'm really looking for our guys to come up with a big effort. It's the Hall of Fame game, and it's a game of consequence for us. I mean, we have to win it. There's no question about it. So, hope our boys are excited and we're ready to get after it.
Questions?
I would add to that I really hope that the Kingston community and the students, recognize that this will be our last home game, and that they will rally and get out there and make some noise. There's no question that college football is a terrific enterprise. There's no question about that. And it's most fun when you're in the hunt. We are 2 wins away from people taking notice, unfortunately. Those are the consequences for the kind of season that we have. But I know we're 2 wins away from people really, getting on side, getting interested, and, reestablishing that connection with the team. So that's our challenge. We dug our own hole. We got to get out of it. So 2 more wins. I think that there's going to be a return of, some excitement to the community, to the campus as a result of a football performance. So that's also what we're shooting for.
Is it a case, thank goodness there is something on the line, because playing against a team like York?
Well, let's just say it doesn't matter who the opponent is. When you're playing in a nothing game in week 8, I mean, that can be, that can be an exercise in futility. I mean, it's, you're talking about the seniors kind of closing out their careers politely. It just creates, a lot of doubt and belief amongst the kids. I mean, where are we headed? Where are we going? I mean, if this is all they were able to do, why are we playing, kind of thing. I mean, so you can create a very, very peculiar dynamic in this situation when you don't have something to play for. Fortunately, our kids are pretty level-headed, and not that we haven't had some choppy waters this year, we have. But, now that they understand what the challenge is to win this weekend and then take their best effort forward into the playoffs. And that's our goal, and that sort of keeps everybody grounded.
You worry about, I know Western's awfully heavily favored, but are you worried about your kids being distracted by thinking about that?
No, I think that, listen, there are some mathematical computations that, could come into play. There's no question about that. And, in college football, you can never say never. We've already had some tremendous upsets in the season, I believe. But I think that most of the good money is going to be on things to fall in our favor mathematically. Not to say that, we still have to play. We have to come up with a good effort. We have to execute. The truth of the matter is that the only places that are nailed down currently are 3rd and 9th. Those are the only things that we know for sure. And all of the other places are up for grabs. And that not only gives us, but everybody else a reason to go out and play hard. And, we could finish 7th, we could finish 6th, we could finish 5th, depending on how the chips fall. And I think that the odds are that we will finish either 5th or 6th. I think there's a better opportunity that we will finish 5th or 6th than out of the playoffs. And if Toronto goes down and beats Western, okay, at home, when they're vying for first place, then quite frankly, they deserve to be in. Sylvie.
Given that if a team makes the playoffs, how do you think the kind of having to play on the road affects the play?
Well, if you're looking at us just for some statistical backup or some empirical evidence, it hasn't been very good so far. The fact of the matter is when you get into the playoffs, you're playing everybody for a second time. And if you go and play a team for a second time and you lose both times, well, then they're back. You don't lose to a team twice. Well, we could have done this and we should have done that. The fact of the matter is that you lined up against them twice. So, you had, 1 game's grace to see what they do, who they are, analyze them, where you can attack them, what you got to stop, and then you got a chance to play them again. So there's no excuses. If you lose to a team for the second time, you just zip it. get back, start recruiting, get ready for next year.
Do you feel if you get in, it's one of those wide open years, perhaps like '07 where Western did what they did? I mean, is there a chance for some upsets this year?
Well, I think typically, I mean, if you look at our league over the past 3 or 4 years, I mean, you've seen there's a lot of close games. There's been a lot of second guessing when the season was done. Isn't the most famous line in last year's televised game was that nobody lost, we just ran out of time? I mean, I can assure you somebody lost okay, that day, but that's one of those quotes that you never quite forget, you know. So the fact of the matter is that when games are close, you know, you're talking about, like I feel right here, you know, 5 or 6 plays, and this is a game where we're playing for first or second place. Also, you know, as I went into the locker room at halftime last week, I mean, I was thinking, I was hoping to beam up to the Starship Enterprise at any minute. But it was, you know, so we've had, it's been that kind of year, really. I think what our guys need to remember, and we've certainly ad nauseum have been reminding them that we're 5 or 6 plays from like being in the hunt for the league crown, getting home games and a bye and all the rest of it. So the fact of the matter is, it didn't happen. So do something about it is the challenge.
Second quarter last week, was that like the perfect storm? I mean, so many things happen yet, you know.
Certainly one metaphor right there. There's a number of others. The Blitzkrieg came to mind there for a second. We just got into a situation where we couldn't stop the bleeding. I mean, we had 4 special team errors in a row. We had you know, some porous defense in the back end, and then just at a time when maybe the offense could have sort of taken control, cranked out a few first downs, settled everybody down. We didn't do that either. So it was pandemic, I would say. It was an across the board thing that boy oh boy. And you know what happens as a play caller, I go, okay, what can we call here? Okay, because we need to get something done here without causing another explosion. And it was, you know, it was one of those things. But you know, it's there's no point at this point. There's really little to be accomplished by focusing on the negative, because that's just going to, you know, cause us, you know, some harm moving forward. So typically, you just have to forget those things and move on, analyze them to death, and try and prevent them from happening again. But you know, don't just focus in on those things.
At least statistically, Ryan Bradberg seemed to be the one kind of bright spot you can take out of a Laurier game. Can you comment a little bit on what we're going to see out of him in the next 2 weeks?
Well, as I heard, even as late as this morning, that, you know, you can use statistics to almost prove anything. And I think that Ryan has, he's come on a little bit, there's no question about that, okay, and I certainly don't want to demean his effort in any way, shape, or form, but, you know, he had a 25-yard run right before the half when they were in prevent, and then he got some pretty productive yards late in the football game. So I don't want to misconstrue the stats, and, you know, we really could have used you know, a big run or a pass or whatever, you know, at critical times, etc. So he's coming along. You know, I think the challenge for him is to demonstrate that he could probably have a 60-minute effort. You know, could he go out there and show that durability as a running back that you need to have? But he's certainly a fast, explosive, big play guy. He's reasonably healthy at this point in the season, so I think he's, you know, primed to make a contribution.
Anything else? All right.
Actually, sorry, INEs is definitely done, right?
Well, he won't be playing this weekend.
Okay, is there a chance of him playing in the playoff game?
Slim.
Slim, okay, thanks.
Everyone good, man? We sure? All right. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.